about 2 weeks ago, we were traveling. We went to go. Pat did a podcast with Tucker Carlson, and somebody at the house. Somebody was like, "Hey, Vinny, did you ever hear about the USS Liberty?" And I heard about it when I was younger, but I never took like a really good dive into it. So just for the viewers that don't know, what the U.S. Liberty, I call it the day that Israel attacked America on June 8th, 1967, during the Six-Day War. Israeli aircraft and torpedo boats attacked American Navy intelligence ship, the USS Liberty. The attack resulted in the deaths of 34 crew members and injuring over 171 soldiers. Despite claims of Israel that the attack was a case of mistaken identity, which is the case a lot, evidence and testimonies of the survivors later suggested that Israel forces knew the USS Liberty was an American ship. The incident led to a cover-up by both the U.S. and Israeli governments, with multiple investigations and reports failing to fully address the true nature of the attack. Did you ever hear about?
This is the first time.
Perfect. So the USS Liberty was a spy ship. It was in the Mediterranean off the Egyptian coast. It was there to monitor the conflict. And then there was an unprovoked attack. Israeli jets and torpedo boats fired rockets, cannons, armor-piercing bullets. Bro, they even dropped napalm on this ship, and they even shot at life rafts, which is a really big no-no when it comes to war, okay? And by the way, we're Israel's closest allies. The American flag on the ship, and this is by the way, this is everything I'm saying is by accounts of the actual crew that were on the boat. So let's get that right. American soldiers were all saying this. The flag was high. It was seen for miles. The words USS Liberty are painted on the side of the bow.
In English, by the way.
English. And mind you, there's no other boats that look like our boats because we're off the Egyptian coast. It's our boat. Let's not play this game. And I love, I like, but Ben Shapiro's like, it's been 50 years and scholars have been, shut the hell up, bro. Just shut up. Okay, because these are just facts. Here's a recording of which, by the way, only came out on this documentary. It's called The Day Israel Attacked America. It's a documentary on YouTube. I think everybody should go watch it and let me know what you guys think. Here's a recording of the Israeli military in real time during the assault. Can you play the clip?
This audio tape, which has never been broadcast before, was recorded in real time by the Israeli military during the assault. The woman's voice in the background is counting down the seconds. It proves that Israeli commanders knew all along that they were attacking an American ship.
American. Boom. Okay, so they know. By the way, this is factual audio from the thing. That's them. They know that it's us. Okay, so now there was tensions between Israel and the Arab neighbors. I mean, obviously, bro, they're surrounded by Arab neighbors. Okay, armies were mobilizing in the 60s. So Israel promised the White House. Okay, this is what they're all saying, that this is Iran, that they would not attack first for the Six-Day War situation. Okay, but they jammed radar sets at the American embassy in Tel Aviv, so we couldn't detect their jets taking off to launch a surprise attack to Egypt. Meanwhile, the USS Liberty is getting closer to the Mediterranean. They're in the Mediterranean, but they're getting closer to the war zone. And by the way, this is all happening during the Cold War. So Lyndon B. Johnson, we're over there because Egypt and Russia have a really good relationship. So we're there to monitor what the hell, they're up to, because they had influence.
Important note there. We're there to monitor.
Yes.
This isn't the Six-Day War and the Cold War going on.
Yes.
We are not involved. We're not deploying troops.
Nope.
We just have a ship there monitoring the situation.
I love that you said that. By the way, this is a spy ship that they know. By the way, again, 100% right. We're not there to attack. There was limited firing cannons on this ship. They're not stupid, bro. Okay, Israel's not stupid. So they were there to intercept. So the night before the attack, Israel was listening to the chatter. They're monitoring, bro. We're allies. They know who the hell who we are, right? And then at 5:15. The USS Liberty reported an Israeli photo recon plane flying over the ship. Israeli records reported that the reconnaissance plane reported that the Liberty as an American spy ship. Okay, it's a spy ship, but it's ours. So their planes kept doing flyovers and even waved the American Americans they're all waving at these guys, bro. And here's another clip I'm going to show Rob of the Israeli pilots asking about the ship before the attack. Play it.
At 1:53 p.m., the pilots asked their base control about the ship.
What do you say? Yep, no comment. But like, yeah, change the subject. So guys, so now let's go to the day of the attack. The crew said it was a beautiful day, and like I said, this is all in the documentary. They were outside on the deck sunbathing, okay? And then the attack happened. They tried to request for help, but by the way, I mean, body parts, if you guys see this documentary, it's freaking brutal what they said that they had to deal with. Just armor-piercing shit. They're shooting at the rafts. Like I said, the soldiers on the boat tried to request help, but Israel jammed their distress frequencies and their tactical frequencies, which, by the way, jamming international distress frequencies is a violation of international law. Okay, if they're trying to communicate with war, different story. But when you're asking for help, what are you
AKA, they wanted them to die.
Yeah.
They wanted no witnesses.
I mean, shooting at life rafts is also, I believe, a violation of international law.
It's 100% it was. But
So-
and by the way, and who would know their frequencies except an ally? How
Right.
do you know the frequency?
Especially
you know what I
back
mean?
then.
Yeah. So this next video, and then I want to start. I'm going to just wrap up because I have a lot because I want people to get some context. This next video is the military figuring out who would sink the ship after their airplanes did the damage and was running out of ammo. Go ahead.
Up above, the Israeli military argued about what should happen next and who should sink the Liberty.
Leave something for the Navy to do because they have torpedo ships.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
At 11 minutes past 2, with the Israeli jets running out of ammunition, the pilots were instructed to fly down and confirm the identity of the ship. It was now 12 minutes past 2, and the Israeli control tower knew for certain this was an American ship, the same one its forces had first identified at 5:15 a.m. that morning, and then buzzed again during 7 additional reconnaissance flights throughout the day.
Who's it belong to? America. Oh, guys, so there's no question, okay? You guys are hearing this real-time audio. They knew they attacked, okay, the torpedo. By the way, and I guess one of the biggest explosion, they shot 5 torpedoes, and it hit. One of them hit. I'm sorry, 2 of them hit, and that was a major killing. 24, I think 25 soldiers died on that hit. So mind you, now this is happening. One soldier grabs like wires because everything is ruined, puts together this little makeshift thing and calls for help. At that moment, the 6th Fleet now is dispatched. It's 500 miles away. Once they're dispatched, the attack stops. Okay, Israel knew that our jets were up in the air, and they were like, whoa, this is a mistake. We messed up. This is a mistake, okay?
Tragic mistake.
Tragic mistakes.
It was a mishap.
Oh, yeah, I
Oops.
love mishaps. Yeah, I love
Incidents.
mishaps. So then, guys, check this out. The damage has been done, Jeremy. A helicopter flies over and drops a bag on the ship that was weighed down by an orange, and there was like a business card on it, and it said, "Are there any casualties?" And the guy that's in this documentary is literally crying as he's trying to hold it together, and he's like, "I ran up and gave it to the captain. The captain read it, and as the plane is coming over, he flipped this Israeli thing." He flipped on the bird. So guys, after the aftermath, the NSA went to the spouses of the dead, and they're like, "Don't speak to the media." Because, bro, this is bad because this entire situation, you know, it was rough on Lyndon B. Johnson, who to date was the most pro-Israel president in our history, right?
Also warmonger, start Vietnam.
Warmonger,
Fucker.
Vietnam,
Yeah.
JFK, his involvement with that. We could get into that later. But so I don't know. This is kind of weird though, Connor. He briefed Newsweek. Okay, kind of like secretly off the record saying that Israel attacked the ship because they thought they were intercepting Egypt as well as Israel's communications. The Israeli embassy found out with other Jewish organizations, and they're like, bro, this is a huge problem. And there's declassified Israeli documents revealing that they threatened Lyndon B. Johnson with blood, liable, gross anti-Semitism. Think about that. They're like, hey, if you point out that we attacked for this reason, we're gonna call you, drum roll, anti-Semitic. Oh, wow. And that would end his career.
Which it seems like it might have, because he didn't run again.
How the hell did they have that power back then? Like now,
I
it's like
don't-
Israel's been around for so long. They were like what, 10 years old or 20 years
You
old,
tell me,
maybe.
what
Like
do you think, Jeremy?
15
So,
years
well,
old?
here's my question. My question is, if you look at conflicts the U.S. has been in the last like 100 years, let's say.
Yeah.
Gulf of Tonkin pulls us into Vietnam.
Yep.
You look at in World War II, I read this really interesting book. It's called Roosevelt's Secret War, and it's basically about how he was starting intelligence and he was starting to understand, like, what other countries are doing. So it's thought that he knew about Pearl Harbor before it happened, and he let it happen.
Yeah.
So this event happens. What was this supposed to pull us into a war? Is that why they kept it quiet? That would be my question.
I think they were trying to scare us or make us know that they're the top dog.
Yeah. Well, but think about the brash that you have to
say
be an
that.
ally to somebody, to try to sink a ship because you don't want them to know what you're about to do, and then having the power back in Washington to shut it all up because the president is in your back pocket. That's the crazy thing, Jeremy.
Also, I know you have a lot more, Vinny, but I just want to say
please
real quick,
go.
like, the Maxwell, the Ghislaine Maxwell, and how her father, Robert Maxwell, was a spy for the Israeli, for Mossad.
Yes.
Like, you have to wonder, where did the balls come from for a small country like Israel to attack a U.S. ship and say, you're not going to tell anyone about it?
Yeah.
America's this gigantic empire that just came out of World War II on top, totally owns the seas, and they're being told by this tiny little country, you can't say anything about it. So what made that little country think that they have power over them? And then when you hear things like the Robert Maxwell stuff and Ghislaine Maxwell and how they had all these spy networks, it's like the reason why Israel projects all this power is because of a much more vast power structure than is obvious from geography.
1,000%.
And like Shane said, it's a tiny little country that, at least ostensibly, is only allowed to exist because of outside support.
For 100%.
Like, anytime America threatens to withdraw support, we get nothing but crying and wringing of hands of, oh, if you don't give us more missiles, we're gonna cease to exist.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we continue giving them money and giving them military aid, they flex on us and like, yeah, that's right. You do what we tell you. Vinny, you've played that video before of Netanyahu talking about, we can basically steer the Americans wherever we want.
However we want.
We can do whatever. American foreign policy towards Israel is perfectly summed up by Nikki Haley on the presidential debate stage a few months ago, where she said, Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel.
Yeah.
What exactly does Israel do for us? No one's ever been able to explain that to me.
Oh, it's our aircraft carrier in the Middle East. It's our base in the Middle East.
There are our base
Why
of
do we need
operations.
that?
They're
Why do we
a
need
sacred
that?
ally in the Middle East. They're the only democracy.
But it's the same
Who
reason.
cares?
It's the same reason the British put them there, right? It's petroleum. It's oil.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but
and
we
everybody
have-
wants access to oil.
Yeah, but we have a lot of oil here that we can't touch because of environmentalists telling us.
Correct.
So if
I don't want to say what kind of environmentalists they were.
if we were really free to do whatever we want as a country, we would probably start here, hitting oil here, and then plus we have tons of natural gas here as well, or getting oil from South America, from Canada. Like, I'm just saying, I feel like there's more to it than just that. I don't know what it is, but I just think that there is more to this whole thing than just
There's something
oil.
deeper. Rob, what are you going to say?
Well, I'm trying to figure out the military angle, because all I've ever seen when I see like maps of U.S. military bases is that we have a shit ton of them everywhere. So for us to go, well, we need Israel to be
Right.
our ally in the Middle East as a base. Well, don't we have like bases in Kuwait and all over
like
the Middle
Saudi
East?
Arabia and whatever else.
Yeah. So like it goes back to that. So why does America need?
Yeah, it really doesn't.
I mean,
make
Vivek
sense.
Ramaswamy dared to ask these questions, and he was like, if I become president, we're going to renegotiate our strategic partnership with Israel so that it is actually a partnership rather than us just giving them money and weapons. And everyone then, of course, trotted out, oh, well, Vivek Ramaswamy is anti-Semitic.
Well, but that's what they do with every conversation. We talked about this yesterday. Every time you go against a narrative, in order to shut down that narrative, they just place a label on you. Okay, you're criticizing Israel? Anti-Semitic. You don't want drag queens reading stories to children? You're transphobic. You don't think that burning down Walgreens while protesting police brutality is effective and helping? Oh, you're racist. And then they just shut that narrative down so you don't have to converse anymore. Nobody hears you. They'll demonetize you. They'll deplatform you. They brand you as alt-right or QAnon.
So that's a lot of power, Rob. That's a lot of power to do whatever you want and kill 34 soldiers. Whoa, that's what bothers me. I'm a veteran, bro. My brother's a veteran. My sister just retired. I have friends that feel like, what happens to those soldiers? And it's driving me crazy because, after that happened, and I have 1 minute to wrap up, LBJ signed the above top secret, I don't even know that even existed, treaty with Israel for the mutual exchange of intelligence and arrangement called Stone Ruby. So the main question, why did Israel attack? So some would say, and a lot of these guys that were on the ship, Israel wanted to protect their next move. Israel had told America that this was going to be a limited war and not a land grab. But on June 8th, 1967, their forces were poised to attack and seize Golan Heights and invade Syria, something they'd wish to keep from the White House until they did it. Okay, and then both Republican and Democrats refused to deal with the USS Liberty. There was a war crimes report filed by the Liberty Veterans Association, but nothing came of it. So who's to blame? And again, I'm happy you guys said that. And I want everybody that's listening to listen to what Rob said and listen to what I'm saying. Judging a country's actions, judging leaders, whoever the hell was in the war room, it has nothing to do with the people as a whole, okay? If somebody from Guatemala, the leader, is murdering or doing whatever, and I go, hey, this guy's an asshole, doesn't mean I'm saying to hell with all Guatemalans. I hope you guys are smarter than that, not to fall for that trap, because if that's it, especially with Congress right now, they're trying to pass something. It passed the House, but it has to go to the Senate.
The Anti-Semitism Awareness Act.
Anti-Semitism, where if you even criticize Israel or what they're doing, you're going to get like legal action taken.
HR 6090.
HR, like what
for the
are
record,
we talking about?
There are many Jews that are against that bill.
No, I agree with it. Even Adam was against it. You know what I mean? But
so they're using anti-Semitism as a way to support certain war measures that have nothing to do with the Jewish people as such.
Well, that's why
this is not a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you just need I feel like you need a giant whiteboard to understand this all too, because even a lot of this are Maoist communist tactics, right?
Right.
In communist China, there were black identities and red identities. A red identity was a good communist identity, and a black identity, like you were saying, a lot of those names are things you didn't want to be. Mm-hmm. So we use the same tools are used against us in many different things, and I just feel like we need a big whiteboard to organize it all.
Like Vinny was saying, it's not a critique of Israeli people, Jewish people, the religion of Judaism. Nope. It's the critique of the political entity of the nation of Israel that has been responsible for horrible things for decades. I was just talking with Humberto out in the office earlier. Reminded me, have you ever heard of the Lavon affair?
No, what's that?
That was a false flag operation Israel tried to pull off in Egypt, where they recruited a bunch of Egyptian Jews to plant bombs in a bunch of embassies and properties, including American, British, and even Egyptian government buildings, because the plan was to blame the Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh, wow.
And then that would encourage Egypt to get involved in the action against them. And the whole thing fell apart. They got caught, and
nothing happened?
Nothing happened.
Yeah, weird.
Egypt and Israel are still on speaking terms.
Yeah.
In another episode, can we get into the Israeli art students who were working inside the Twin Towers prior to 9/11, as well as the dancing Israelis? Not today, but that's a teaser.
No, yeah.
Future anti-Semitic content coming your way.
Yeah.
Hey, remember
that
documentary they got coming out called "We Will Dance Again"? That sounds like a threat.
Oh shit, we will dance.
It's
again.
about October 7th.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
They're gonna dance.
Well,